some more.
Yo, what's good, people? Izzy Max here. Back again, but this is the VGC Shadow League. This is the second league that I am in. This is the league that I finished second in last season. My opponent this week for week 1 is going to be Jizzy. You see the 6 that he is bringing here. The Scolipede, Zoroark, Passimian, Snorlax, Slowbro, and the Chandelure, I'm sorry. And I'm bringing the Raichu, Pincurchin, Indeedee, Diggersby, Slowbro, and Darmanitan. You can see the first 4 that I'm leading off here. I kind of pressed record a little late. This is sped up and post-com like always. So I am leading with the Raichu and Indeedee. Other than Zoroark, this pretty much chunks everything that he has. And then with the Diggersby and the Darmanitan in the back, I can pretty much clean up what that core doesn't. So let's go ahead and get started into game 1. See if I can fast forward this at all. I can. So here he leads Chandelure and Snorlax. This was a supportive Chandelure, and that's kind of what I expected. My thought here for not clicking, I didn't click follow me, was if you're going to Shadow Ball my Raichu, I am Focus Sash anyway. But turns out that he was support Chandelure. This is when I found out it was. And just double Expanding Force was the correct call here. So Expanding Force does way more than half to the Chandelure. And then this knocks Snorlax into where it has to eat its berry, which was super clutch here. So it eats its Figgy Berry and then goes for the Belly Drum. So now it is at like less than 25%. Actually, maybe a little bit more. But now out comes the Scolipede. I know my Raichu isn't going to outspeed it because I am a modest Raichu this week. But this Expanding Force, after a special attack drop from Max Flutterby, should kill the Snorlax 88% of the time. Seeing how much damage it did in the first place. So this should kill the Snorlax. I do go for the follow me. I kind of needed my Raichu healthy. There's the Flutterby. Gonna knock out the Indeedee, of course. Raichu gets a little bit of a drop there. And then I Expanding Force, and Snorlax literally lives on 1 HP. It got the 12% roll that it needed. And now, because I didn't bring Pincurchin, the Scolipede is actually faster than everything I have. So this kind of put me in a really, really bad spot. Not one that I was really comfortable being in. That Snorlax living was very, very detrimental. So I figured I'll just Expanding Force. If he doesn't target down my Raichu, it kills both. And Diggersby will target down the Scolipede. I need to kill the Scolipede since it is faster than literally everything that I have. So he targets my Raichu, it goes down, and then I hit the Scolipede with a Body Slam and it goes down, and then Snorlax has Ice Punch and KOs my Diggersby. And this is why that 12% was actually huge, because all I have left is my Darmanitan, and he has his Zoroark. So my plan now is to Dynamax, go for the Flutterby into the Snorlax. I could have killed the Zoroark, but Snorlax would have killed me on the clapback. So I have to hope and pray that one, I live the first Flamethrower with decent enough HP to live a second one from a -1 Zoroark. Well, that's actually not the case. Turns out the first Flamethrower just does way too much, and I had to max to live the first one. And turns out, I think it might have been Specs, because it only clicks one move at a time. It never changes its move, so I'm not really ever for sure. But it does end up knocking out my Darmanitan, so I lose game 1, 1-0. I end up changing up kind of what I was planning to do. So I'm going to have my hyper offensive front line, my Diggersby and my Darmanitan, leading off the match, with my Raichu for the speed boosting Scolipede with the Pincurchin this time. Because if he does set up Trick Room, my Pincurchin is slower than everything he has, and hits very, very hard with Rising Voltage. So this was kind of my game plan going into game 2. If he can out-offense me, which I don't think he can, he will win. And like I said, I didn't really care too much about him setting up Trick Room. It wasn't the most important thing. So here I am just going to go for the Brick Break into the Snorlax and the Icicle Crash into the Slowbro, hoping that he'll flinch or something. He does get the Quick Claw proc, which kind of sucks because he is setting up Trick Room. As the Brick Break there, I do get the crit. I didn't really care because I just needed to get him low enough to where when he belly drummed, he still wasn't at very much health, which is kind of what happened here. So he is at very, very low health. And the Slowbro flinched. So now he's kind of stuck. For some reason, he does max his Snorlax at very low health. I don't know if he didn't realize that his Trick Room didn't get set. That's what I'm thinking. But he ends up maxing his Snorlax here. And this turn just went all right for me. The flinch really started it off. I wanted to U-turn just in case he was trying to set up Trick Room, because I knew the Pincurchin could come in and clean up the Snorlax afterwards. But another Icicle Shard does knock out the Slowbro, and another Brick Break knocks out the Snorlax. So now I'm in a 2v4 situation, and this is really looking good because Scolipede is one of the mons he has in the back, and currently it cannot outspeed my Darmanitan. And then Chandelure. I was kind of afraid of the Chandelure. This is when I found out that it was very supportive. I wanted to go for Rock Slide. Forgot how Guerrilla Tactics worked for like 5 seconds. So I shard the Scolipede, and it actually dies in one shot. Darmanitan is a threat, and he just Will-O-Wisps the Diggersby. And then High Horsepower still would have killed, but this is where the Focus Sash is. So this game is pretty well under wraps. I just need to land an Ice Shard and or the High Horsepower. So I either win this game 3-0 or 4-0. I end up winning it 4-0. I do land the Icicle Crash. I said Ice Shard. Icicle Crash. And the Chandelure goes down. So we are going straight into game 3 now. Feeling pretty confident after that game 2. But I kind of want to change up what I'm doing. I was expecting him to lead against my Darmanitan Diggersby since it was so dominant. So I'm going to go back to the Raichu and Didi, but I'm going to bring Pincurchin in the back this time to help me with speed control. And I think Diggersby is just so good in this matchup. So game 3, like I said, I'm leading the same lead I did in game 1, with the exception of actually having Pincurchin in the back, as he leads Scolipede and Slowbro. That is not actually Slowbro. Turns out that was the Zoroark, which kind of caught me off guard for like 5 seconds. So just in case it was not the Slowbro, I did double target the Scolipede. I don't know if Expanding Force would have redirected if it was immune, but just in case, I'm double targeting the Scolipede. And this was all part of my grander plan. I figured he would either kill the Indeedee or hit the Raichu into its sash, but he ends up killing the Raichu. This is where I find out that it is the Zoroark. Of course, I get brought down to sash. Expanding Force doesn't affect the Slowbro, and then -1 Expanding Force does a whole lot to the Scolipede. And here's where I bring in Pincurchin to get the speed boosts from the Surge Surfer. So I know another single target Expanding Force will kill, and then Rising Voltage from the max special attack, max HP Pincurchin should one-shot the Zoroark, knowing that the Focus Sash is on the Chandelure. So he Dark Pulses the Raichu, kills it, which is fine. And then the Rising Voltage here knocks out the Zoroark. And so now it is a 2v2, and I feel like I'm in the better position because I know Slowbro is in the back. So out comes the Snorlax and the Slowbro, and this is where I'm deciding I don't really care if he sets up Trick Room, but if this will kill, I'm in a better spot, because now the Snorlax, if it doesn't go for Belly Drum, the Rising Voltage will do enough to proc its berry, and it really can't do too much damage, but then it will die from a Sucker Punch. Should. So here I do max my Diggersby, and then the Max Quake comes off and just obliterates the Slowbro. It's weak to ground, so this was a really good play. I get a special defense boost, not really relevant in the face of a Snorlax, but he does end up belly drumming. But he kind of IV'd, EV'd, whatever, his Snorlax wrong to where it wouldn't eat the berry after a belly drum. And the Rising Voltage was able to KO the Snorlax after that. So that was the end of the game. Really good showing from my team for week 1. I should have brought the Pincurchin game 1, but like I said, I was expecting that to actually kill the Snorlax. Everything went as I thought it would, other than that 12% live chance, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's whatever. But nevertheless, that was a good showing also from Jizzy, so GG to my opponent. And next week we have a good matchup. I think we go against Matt. He has a T-Tar, Milotic type style team. So I'm really looking forward to next week. And yeah, without further ado, I will see you in the next one. Peace.